Every day we find ourselves caught up in a race for attention. We chase success and approval, compare ourselves to others, and don't even notice how much energy we're wasting in the process. Our world has become very fast-paced and very noisy. We're constantly multitasking, and as a result, we're becoming very anxious. Depression rates are rising. We still often hear the word burnout and experience simple, genuine joy less frequently. All of this has one common cause: a disruption of the dopamine cycle within us. This is Nadezhda Koroleva with the Omline Academy of Superconscious State Coaching. Today, I'll show you how dopamine works. Why is it directly linked to our self-love or self-loathing? And how can we regain a stable sense of strength? So let's figure out why we get hooked on social media. What happens when you scroll through your feed? When you look at other people's life stories? What's going on? It's as if for a second you catch a sense of satisfaction, completion, understanding. In other words, an impression you've received, right? Meaning, something has ended, you've received something. That's a dopamine rush. The brain is such a strange thing. It receives not a real reward, but a tiny one. I understood, I learned, I got it, and immediately wants more. And there's no end to this race? Tell me, who among you couldn't fall asleep until you'd scrolled through that endless feed of all kinds of social media? Both restricted and unrestricted, because the pleasure isn't sustained, and the anxiety only grows. And so it turns out that the more stimuli we receive, the less inner strength we have, and the more we seek external validation rather than inner peace. Over time, our bodies stop producing the necessary amount of dopamine on their own. We constantly need some kind of external stimulus. Eventually, we lose interest and lose motivation. Our zest for life disappears. It seems that without new likes, without new experiences, without new purchases, without a constant stream of news, life is somehow uninteresting, and in reality, this isn't laziness or indifference to everything, but the exhaustion of our dopamine system. That's where anxiety comes from. Anxiety is the adrenaline that has built up in the body but hasn't been acted upon. The body gets tired from this tension. It's exhaustion. The brain stops understanding where there's a real danger, where something actually needs to be done, and where there's really no danger. And that's how anxiety becomes a sort of general background noise. And all the time, it's as if a phrase starts playing inside your head. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't make it in time? What if I don't make it? We stop resting. Even in our sleep, anxiety continues to simmer inside us because of this pile of unfinished or incomplete tasks. Anxiety builds up in our bodies. So what should we do? We need to learn to transform this energy, because otherwise, sooner or later, it will manifest itself anyway. It will come out in some form, through tantrums, tears, destruction, illness, insomnia, conflicts with loved ones, or by asserting our own boundaries. That's why we need to learn to release it in advance, to release it through healthy outlets, through a walk, exercise, dance, whatever works. The main thing is to move. Let's figure out why we lose dopamine. Our brains are wired so that dopamine is released when we achieve something. But we, as modern people, live in a state of constant unfulfillment, constant dissatisfaction with ourselves. So it's as if we never quite get there, right? Like a carrot is always running away from us. We very rarely praise ourselves. We practically never say to ourselves, "Oh, good job." So what do? We wait for others to praise us? And we live from one evaluation to the next. No, from one moment to the next, hoping someone will say, "You're good." But what if they don't? What if the approval doesn't come? The system collapses. So it turns out that we stop feeling our own inner satisfaction on our own without any external reinforcement. And instead, we start relying more and more on external factors. Our body stops producing dopamine naturally, which leads to chronic anxiety, procrastination, and apathy. None of these are signs of weakness. They're actually a breakdown in our internal motivation, the malfunction of our internal dopamine system. So how can we restore it? The only way to restore it is through self-approval. Now remember this phrase. Self-approval. No one will approve of you except yourself. Now, one more time. Self-approval. Let's do an exercise right now that will help you silence your inner critic who has been with you for far too long. It's called exercise number 1. I'm doing great. For 9 days, pay attention. 9 days. Every day, no matter what you do, tell yourself, oh, I'm doing great. Let's say you woke up. I'm doing great. You made yourself some tea or coffee. You might say, who's going to praise themselves for that? You're going to praise yourself for it. You'll say, I'm doing great. If you made it to work on time, good job. If you took a headache pill, don't scold yourself for getting a headache. Say, good job. I took care of myself right now. Come on. Now let's find a reason to praise ourselves. Here we go. 3, 4. I'm doing great because, well, I'm doing great for myself for sitting here and recording this video. And you're doing great for listening to this video. And so on. Okay, what else did you do today that makes you deserve praise? Well, I'm doing great because... Finish the sentence. Feel that sensation inside you. Where does it resonate? In your head? In your chest? In your stomach? That feeling of, I'm doing great. What? Was that even possible? Where inside you is that energy right now? I'm doing great, right? It's inside you. Where does that source of strength reside? Remember where it is. What color is this energy inside you? What is its quality? How does it make you feel? How do you start treating yourself and how do you start treating other people? I feel how you've immediately become kinder, more forgiving, less critical. What is your attitude toward life right now? Life has become simpler, easier, less aggressive, more abundant, kinder. See how dopamine works inside us? If this practice resonated with you, be sure to like the video so that more people who need support can see it. And now let's discuss a few questions. Why is it so hard for us to tell ourselves good job? Because we were taught not to. From childhood, school, parents. We had to prove that we deserved praise, and praising ourselves, and thanking ourselves, and saying, I'm doing a great job. It's considered inappropriate. No, it isn't part of our upbringing. It's probably nowhere in the world. So we'll have to relearn this together. Getting used to telling ourselves every day. Why is it easier for us to criticize ourselves like that? Because it's easier to find flaws, easier to judge ourselves, and easier to focus on what didn't work out. Negative emotions feel stronger, simpler, more familiar, more tangible. That's why our task is to retrain ourselves, to move from that heavy, familiar negativity into the feeling of, I did a great job. Sometimes we think, won't life get worse? Oh my, how we're wired. As if we could jinx ourselves. You won't jinx it. Trust me. Not at all. On the contrary. You'll increase the amount of good in your life. Let's talk about aggression now. Aggression is one of the participants in our dopamine anxiety cycle. And let's find a healthy outlet for it. Sometimes it's hard for us to process not only joyful events, but negative ones too. It's restrained energy inside us. Restrained life energy. Unexpressed energy of action. If you express yourself and stay active, aggression doesn't build up. But if you keep it inside, if you smile while bottling it up, that energy will still destroy you from within. So it's important to express it safely. What are some safe ways to release aggression? When you feel like you're boiling over, take action. Wash the dishes, organize the closets, go shopping, go to the gym, lift weights, hit a punching bag, run up the stairs, dance, bang a stick against a fence, do something active. The important thing is to release the tension, not keep it inside. And when we release that tension, space is freed up inside us. Space for dopamine, space for happiness, space for the feeling. I'm doing great. Space for action. Now let's explore how dopamine is connected to self-love. Each of us has 3 levels of self-love. That's the first level. I love myself when I am loved. I love myself because others love me. The second level, I love myself whether others love me or not. And this is inner freedom, and this is already wonderful, but very few people live at this level. And the third level, this is what we should strive for. I love you whether you love me or not. A level of self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-knowledge, mindfulness. As long as most of us remain at the first level, anxiety will continue to return. Because we depend on others' judgments, their approval, their opinions, and that's normally so let's tell ourselves, I'm doing great simply because I exist. This is the most important dopamine state, an internal source of support. It requires no proof, no confirmation. Now let's consider dopamine as the winner's hormone. Let's do one more exercise. Close your eyes. Focus your attention on the center of your head. Take a deep breath in and out. Tell yourself, I am in control. I am the master of my body. Keep your attention in the center of your head, as if you're observing your entire body from there. Now ask yourself, where inside you do you feel? I'm satisfied with myself. I'm a winner. I can handle this. Feel where your body becomes stronger, denser, more stable, where your inner core appears. This is your dopamine energy. Once again, deep breath in, deep breath out. I am a winner. I have achieved it. Feel how this energy supports you from within. Feel how it warms you. What color is it? Gold, blue, pink, purple. The main thing is that simple joy appears. Joy that you exist. Joy that you are capable. Joy that you are a winner. A feeling of limitless possibility. A wonderful feeling. Remember where this winner lives inside you. And finally, if you want to restore a stable state of joy, write in the comments what causes your anxiety, how you deal with it, and what has helped you personally. Your experience may help someone else. That's all from me today. Subscribe to the Omline channel to continue this journey with us. A journey toward emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. This has been Nadezhda Koroleva and the Omline project. See you in our next videos.